All right, welcome back to Black Lodge Trivia Night. This is Art, and we're going to do a little more space trucking, but this isn't going to be like a, hey, we're in part 37 of our space trucking. There's not an actual story here to follow. We're going to take a look today at X3, Albion Prelude. When I was playing Freelancer, I'm sure I mentioned over and over and over the X series, and so I thought I would take a look at it. Now, I'm coming into this, I don't want to say completely cold. I've played this before, but I haven't sunk like 3,000 hours into it like, you possibly can. So I don't exactly know what I'm doing, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you a taste of what the X series could be. Now you're going to say, now Art, X3, Albion Prelude from like 37 years ago, 4 presidents ago, like why not take a look at X4? And the reason why is because I have sort of a very specific picture in mind when I think of the X series, and it goes back to the one I played the most of, which was Extension, a long, long time ago. Let's get started before I start blathering too much. So there's a number of starting characters, positions, however you want to do it, that you can choose from. An Argon Peacekeeper is going to get you into the combat right away. You see here, it's as close to the front lines of the Argon-Terran War. Aid the Federation in any way possible. I think it's the Argon Federation. So, I don't claim to know the lore. There's Argons, Terrans, there's Split, which at one point I think was like a alien invader, but maybe they become more normalized and as the lore progressed, like the way the Klingons sort of get brought into the Star Trek universe as allies. There's the Boron, which is an alien race. I don't know when I think they show up in X2. It's spelled, I think, Khack. Let me double check that. It's pronounced cock. So I think one of the games is like literally like the cock threat. Cack threat. I don't know, like if you're being charitable, you can say cack. But that's just saying cock from Southie in Boston. So let me just double check how it's spelled. I'm gonna get the phone book, Anyway, so not sure if they're gonna show up, but anyway, so you have like an Argon Peacemaker, Terran Commander. That's gonna give you, and it gives you an idea of difficulty average. This is probably gonna give you like a few ships to control, an Argon Patriot. Looks like you might just be like a fighter jockey. Humble Merchant, so it's not all that hard. Goal is to amass the ultimate fortune and spread the fingers of your... Whatever you start as, it doesn't matter. You can basically do whatever you want. It's just basically funneling you into a starting position that you have to work from. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with a nostalgic Argon because it's sort of the most basic. If you choose like a humble merchant, you get a couple of ships. I want like nothing. I want... Oh, here's a Boron. You get to look at them. Warning, this game mode is very dangerous. Whatever you do, you can't undo it. Dead is dead. Interesting. I'm going to do that. We're going to go with nostalgic Argon, which is probably going to be the most boring. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. Henry Ford. The conflict escalates into a full-scale war. Swarm AGI attacks Terran home systems. Saturn. You saw Jupiter there a moment ago. Not Jupiter, Saturn. The rings. The moon. Neptune. Terran fleets attack the community of planets. I mean, it makes sense that Terran would be the Earth forces, but I don't know why Argon is sort of, anyway, the human kind of looking. Former enemies become allies against the Terrans. It all began with one year earlier. Earth. Taurus Eternal. Sayako. Realizing my dumb face is right over her eyeball. Didn't know where to put the camera feed. It'll make more sense later when we get into the game why I jammed it to the right, but X3, Albion Prelude. So that trailer makes this game sound like it really is going to kick some ass. And like, oh shit, Battlestar, the space sim? I mean, it can sort of be that. It's not really that. You can see like the controller, the Xbox controller. This does support that if you wanted to use it. I'm probably going to just go with the mouse and keyboard.
Argon, Flight School, Nova.
Contact the highlighted ship to start your flight training. So we're going to go to comms.
Is there something I can help you with? Hello? Would you like to learn the basics of flying?
Sure.
Good. If you want to stop at any time, then just tell me. You can contact me through the comm menu. Let's cover the basics first. Movement. Accelerate to 10 meters per second by pressing the acceleration key. Now slow down. If you hold the decelerate button, you will reverse. Reverse to -5 meters per second.
Okay, there we go. You can see the display at the bottom of the screen there.
Move towards my ship.
Backspace.
Very good. I have ejected a crate. It's next to me. Try to target it.
Ammunition Factory, Alpha, Quantum Tube Fab, Alpha.
Doing something wrong here. There's a way to match.
Flight School, Nova.
There's a way to match speed. I'm trying to see if we can do it.
Hey.
Whoop.
That had better have been an accident.
I'm gonna autopilot follow. So here's the first thing you're seeing about the X series is that it's not
Autopilot off.
Very good. Now target me and open the communication menu.
okay. So I just realized it was trying to tell me there was yellow indicator arrows.
Argon, Flight School, Nova.
Is there something I can help you with? That's the way. This is the main form of interaction with objects. You can command ships, request docking permissions, or ask for directions by opening up the communication menu. Try docking at this station.
Argon Stock Exchange. Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
It's weird, I got those like little window dings, I don't know. SETA is sort of a time compression. I know it's the J key because I've played this before. That's what it is on some of the older games. So the question is why, I think I was why X3 instead of X4. And like I was saying, I started with extension a long time ago. There was X Beyond the Frontier, like in before 2000, maybe 97, 96, somewhere around there. And it was really kind of, in my mind, a really interesting game, but it was very limiting in a weird way. It's a little clunky. It's still clunky. You know, the series never loses that clunk, so to speak, but extension, but you could only fly one ship. It was basically this one ship that was like this sort of experimental ship that
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
So we're gonna go to trade.
At stations, you will be able to trade goods, look for missions, and upgrade ships. Now undock from the station.
Okay. Let's see. Undock. Couple things I want to do first. Let me go to gameplay. We want set a factor to go up to 10, not just 6. That'll help out a little bit. We're gonna do so we can see how number for that. Hide sidebar. So the question is, when you're flying around like a quote-unquote pilot, do you want it to hide this because you can't really use it anyway? Run game in background. I don't know if that matters. Let's turn on. Good enough. Oh, I wonder if you could do multi-monitor. I've got multiple monitors. I don't know if I've ever... if you're on the Discord, you've seen my setup. And I've got my... Now, what it is, it's a main 1440p monitor, and I've got 2 vertical 1440p monitors to the left and right for extra space. That should do the trick. Let's see if we can...
Let's try some combat runs. Move towards my ship.
Okay, let's follow this command. Yeah, we'll do some of this for a while, and then I'll blather at some point. Okay, here we go.
Argon. Flight School. Nova. Command rejected.
Okay. So it's like Freelancer, where it sort of follows your mouse around. Freelancer might have been well before this game. So Freelancer, you know, again, I think really pioneered...
I've ejected another crate close by. Try shooting it. Move towards my ship. I've ejected another crate close by. You can use missiles too. Target the crate, select a missile, and launch.
We select missile.
Mosquito missile installed.
And you fire missile. So yeah, it said how to choose the missile.
Mosquito missile removed. Mosquito missile installed.
Please stop that. Look at your shield indicator. If you are hit, your shields will reduce. Once your shield energy is depleted, your hull will start to take damage. Shields will regenerate automatically. Hull will not. Be careful, as there are some weapons which are designed to bypass shields, lower shields, or disrupt systems. Well done. I think you have the basics. You will pick up the rest as you go.
So that's it. That's the flight training. Like, move left, right, dock, click comms, right mouse button fires. That's all they're going to give you. So And now you're out in the universe. So yeah, X extension is what I was talking about. It sort of made it a lot more open, a lot more freeform. You could pilot different ships. You could own, I think, multiple ships. And I think you could even buy stations. So it lets you, like, gave you a lot of things to do with your money without sort of the way, like, old Madden games are really fun and pretty accessible, and current Madden games are like, if you're not an expert in pro football, you're never going to play it at the highest levels. Do you know what I mean? So each game after extension sort of goes more and more toward the hardcore, where X Rebirth, which is between X3 and X4, is sort of like this anomaly, but X4, I feel like, is the most empire management detailed, and in that way feels intimidating and difficult to get into. It changes how sectors and systems are organized. That sort of came in Rebirth. It changes, the detail to which you can sort of customize, stations that you build and buy, to the point where it's all too much. Extension was always like a very chill experience for me. And each game in my mind gets less and less chill, and I feel like X3 is sort of at the edge of the precipice before X4 goes ham, where, and I don't blame them. Like in X4, you can walk around stations, you can kind of walk around your ship, you can, X Rebirth, which came right before X4, pioneered going into stations, talking to people. It just becomes a lot. Where X3, I felt like still was getting more detailed, but it was keeping that sort of, that mindset from the old days still kind of present. And, and at the time of this recording, Microsoft just released just shadow dropped. Everybody knew it was coming. Just released Oblivion, the remake. And Oblivion, I feel like, is sort of in a similar boat, where it's keeping the old school stuff from Morrowind and the Elder Scrolls series, but it realizes it needs to bring it forward, and so they start changing core things to make it smoother and more modern. I feel like X3, from my experience, is that they realize, okay, we can't just be extension. X2, maybe still a little too old school. Maybe I'm misremembering X2. X3, it starts to smooth things out. It starts to veer toward, we're really here for the empire, financial empire management, but it hasn't gone all the way over. It keeps connected to the old ways, which are maybe a little too simple or a little too whatever.
Mosquito missile removed.
Yeah, so let's remove that. Let's go here and let's start taking a look at my menu. So my property, because we chose the one we did, we start with the most basic ship. It's a buster, it's small, it's not amazing, doesn't do much of anything. It's going to get us started. It's the most pared down, stripped back starting you can have, but it's what I like about this game, because again, for me, this is a chill Truckin experience. I don't own any stations. It's the only ship I own. I don't have my ships organized into wings. Our sectors that I'm aware of, I guess. I don't have any property owned in Archon Prime. Personnel, I don't have any pilots. So you're going to spend a lot of time in menus, and again, this becomes more and more true from my limited understanding the deeper you get into the games. Again, X Rebirth is an anomaly. But if you just go with the main numbered extension, X2, X3, X4. So there's that. Let's look at this menu here. Go to the sector map. It's going to show you everything that's here. Can we pull back? Maybe not. So again, this is sort of structuring the sectors like the old-fashioned way. Once you hit X Rebirth after this, it becomes a lot more fluid. It becomes not only are there gates, but there's also like super highways that get you from certain areas to other areas very quickly. It gets very amorphous. It's less rigid, which probably makes a lot more sense, but it also, again, it sort of adds to detail and, okay, how do I manage, how do I navigate? Where again, what I look for, the nostalgia for the X series comes from just the chill. So this is what we got going on in this sector. You can have all, we can just pick stations if we want to go for something. We can just pick the ships, you know, so it's not crazy. And a little secret, like I really want to spend some time with this because I feel like this could also help me onboard to X4. But I also miss what the old X provides. So we got the sector map. Let's go to the universe map. Now you're going to sort of see like how it's like, let me go back one. Sector map. You can see the gates, east, north, west, south, right? It's very clear. There's always one there, one there, one there, one there. Go to the universe map. And you can see, it's boom, 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 boom. Now, maybe not every sector has one on the 4, you know, compass points. But a lot of them will, and then, but that's a lot of how the organization comes. So it's always very easy, like it's all like on one sort of Z plane a lot of the time, for the most part, especially in extension. And yeah, so makes it very easy to do. You can do a little search here, zoom in and out, even though we haven't gotten anywhere. I think you can just click on this and then it brings you to it. And then again, zoom in, zoom out. Current ship.
The Argon Buster was once the pride of the Argon fleet and was instrumental in the Argon victory in the Xenon conflict. However, during the Boron campaign, it was superseded by the Argon elite.
I was saying earlier, the Split were the enemy. The Xenon were actually the enemy. The Split is probably another alien race that's friendly and it's not a big deal. The Xenon were the original enemies that I remember from, I don't know if it's X2 and Extension, but that's the ones I remember first encountering. Then there's the CAC, and then I don't know what it is at this point, because there is a story, there is lore going on. So we got our ship. We do autopilot. We got freight. So again, we can hold 65 units. We're spending a couple on shields, an impulse ray emitter. That might be our gun. Mosquito missile. We got one left, I guess. Installed ship extensions, boost extension, and singularity engine time accelerator setup. That's the time compressor. Boost extension might just let us. Let's get our speed going. Again, you got your buster on the bottom. Tab. There's a way to boost. Not sure what it is. So what we can do now is this is the north gate.
Heron's Nebula.
Gonna take us to Heron's Nebula. So let's just go there and see what happens. So I'm gonna lock in. Sort of boom, lock that in. Start compressing time again. Oh, okay, you don't have to hold. You just click it and it goes. We're gonna go to 1,000% because we upped that to times 10 instead of times 6. You know what, before we go, there's a way to get external cameras. So you get an idea of what our ship looks like. It's just a simple puddle jumper of some ways. I will say this, I think these games still look fantastic. You know, each one gets better and better, obviously, but I feel like for the style it's going, which is like quasi-realistic, I think these games hold up very well. The stations, at some point, like I said, I'll show you other games in the X series. X Rebirth is an interesting one because, you know, I was playing Freelancer and it's all this mission-based. I feel like X Rebirth is sort of their attempt to do like a mission-based Freelancer style kind of game. If you do the campaign, it can be very linear. It's very much like, click here, do this, do this. It really railroads you at the beginning in a way that might be good, like to really just drive you forward in the story, give you a mission, go do it. I don't know what happens as you get further along. I know it opens up to being like this kind of thing where if you want to trade, do whatever you want, but I know there's a very clear delineated story in X Rebirth. I don't know if everybody But that's sort of like a black sheep in the family. Not everybody likes that one. In fact, a lot of people really don't like it if they're hardcore X fans. Stations in X Rebirth, X4 get goddamn ridiculous. Like, they just become these sprawling messes, which is, again, part of what I like about this is it sort of keeps it cleaner, it's simpler, it feels more focused in a way that I really like. Because, again, I'm looking for the chill space truckin'. A little advertising platform there next to that station. So we're going to go back to the main view. So there's that. This is our target view, and now we're back in our cockpit. There is no cockpit. You're never going to see your cockpit in this. Maybe there's mods that add it to it. It's one of the complaints I think that people had about this game. X2 definitely had cockpits. Extension definitely had cockpits. It's actually part of the reason why Extension doesn't really work on modern systems is because 16:9 resolutions, the cockpit doesn't, there's no way to scale it. And so if you try, what it ends up doing is it just sort of zooms in to fill the frame and cuts off information. I'm gonna go through the gate here.
Entering system, Heron's Nebula.
One of the other things that this game retains that I don't know if it starts to get lost in X Rebirth and X4. This is sort of the original music I have looping in my mind from Extension. I played it for a really long time. And you really click with the music. This still has the music that I remember. Maybe it's modernized a little bit. The other later games, Rebirth, Extension, it feels, at least for my limited time with those, they feel different. Like they changed the soundtrack up a bit. We're gonna accelerate, come in, stopped. Again, F1, I'm using the numeric keys. I don't know if I can use the mouse. I'm using the numeric keypad to... Asteroids, if you want, you can mine them. There's ways to figure out which ones have high resources. You can see over here to the right. Hopefully my head's not... It's basically just above my head to the left of the screen a little bit. Got a station plugged into an asteroid, so that's probably going to be... Oh wait, I can click and hold. Okay. Let's get back to... Trying to basically click that. Let's go to the sector map and start taking a look. So here we are. We've got a bunch of ships. Let's zoom in a little bit. So we got some fleets going on. A lot of one of the amazing things about this series is that it really does sort of simulate everything going on in the background. It tries to simulate a fully functioning space economy. What's this? That's my buster. Okay. Well, let's look at stations. What do we got? Probably too far out to really... So control is fire. I don't want to do that.
Video enhancement goggles not installed.
So I think that's Alt. That would let me zoom in on a target. So what you need to do is get close.
Ore mine M Gamma.
And you can start... Nope.
Ore mines are mainly built around small asteroids because of the higher productivity that the low gravity of asteroids allow. Asteroids are first analyzed with special scanners for their richness in minerals.
There you go. That is something you can do if you want. So you can see here, TC, I think it's the... I really don't know. Volume 8 TC. what it's saying is we don't know anything about this station yet. Now, the reason why is because initially you need to, I don't know if you just need to get close to it or if you actually need to dock. Can you reposition? No. So if you dock with it.
You are talking to the automated interact. Positive. Please dock as soon as you get green position lights.
That music right there, the docking music, is so ingrained in my memory. Again, just a chill game. I could auto dock, but it's actually a little faster too. You can get a docking computer, which lets you, like, if you get within, like, I don't know, 5 clicks or something, it automatically docks for you. You don't have to actually fly into... Close enough, right? You get in there...
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
There you go. So I can hit Control S and save my game. We'll save it in slot 2, I guess. I misclicked. But, yeah, so now that you're here...
Ore mines are mainly built around small asteroids because of the higher productivity that the low gravity of asteroids allow. Asteroids are first analyzed with special scanners for their richness in minerals.
There might be a way to turn that down. Let me double check. Audio? Shows a verbose ship computer. Let's, No. Let's leave it on for a little bit, just so you get the idea. And that voice is also, like, goes back to extensions. That's, I mean, I'm sure it's, like, remastered or whatever, re-recorded, but that voice is the voice I remember from extension. So again, there's a lot of, like, ties to the old that I feel like I miss when I jump into the new. If that makes sense. Okay, so we're not gonna, let's leave it for now. So here we are. What we can do is we can barter. Now, barter is when you want to buy and sell with other ships. So let's see what we could buy. We could buy, and so green tells you it's a good price. That's what I think it's telling you. You just have to figure out where to sell it. Selling... I don't know if you ever want to sell to other ships. Like, so they have 20 ore. I don't know if that means I don't know what that means. I assume that's the price they would pay. But anyway, so you can barter with other ships, but you can also trade with the station you're on.
Ore is the most common mineral throughout the whole known universe. It is used in the production process of almost all technical goods. Ore is produced in ore mines which are built around small asteroids.
So yeah, so ore, 87 credits per ore unit. I think because it's red, that's kind of telling you it might not be great. The thing they need is energy cells to convert that ore.
Attention! Today there is a sale in the hardware shop on level 9. Don't miss the special offers. Again,
trying to add some flavor to it that they, you know, when you get into X4 and you're like walking around stations, it gets a lot more. It gets a lot more. But this sort of streamlines, it keeps it focused. So I don't know if this is a great price for ore. Let me see if there's a way to tell what I have. My property. I want to know how much money I have.
The Argon Buster was once the pride of the Argon fleet.
Is there a way to know? It seems like there should be a way to know how much money I have at the moment. I have one ship. I thought I would have like 10 grand. And I thought it would say it here. Statistics, maybe? Anyway. So I don't want to take a bath, but so now what you can do is you can sort of go station to station and figure it out. What prices are, things like that. But if you start to get like communication satellites and you can sort of place them somewhere that they won't get destroyed, that will feed you real-time information for every single sector that you're in. That you deploy a satellite in. So what I would do an extension, and I'm sure it would sort of work here at the moment.
Ore is the most common mineral.
So I might only have
throughout the
1,000
universe.
credits.
It is used in the production process.
Let me see what happens if I
almost
buy.
all technical goods. Ore is produced in ore mines which are built around small asteroids. Energy cells are the unified energy storage used
16
throughout
for
the
an
whole
energy cell
known
isn't great.
universe.
Sometimes you can
The
sell those for 20.
unification of the energy storage specifications allow. Ore is the most common mineral throughout the whole known universe.
So let's disembark. Let's see what else is around here. It's one of the gates. Okay, so this might just be mainly... Get out of here. This might mostly just be... stations. We got a Rhymes factory, ore mine. So you're seeing like the other ore mines not showing up on the list. So let's...
Ore mine M Beta.
So now if we go to our sector map, we got 2 ore mines, right? We can get
Ore
info,
mines are mainly
but again, we
built
don't have
around
prices.
small asteroids.
I think you have to get closer to them. Let me see if,
You are talking to the automated interact.
What do you want?
again, you can,
That's easy. Try behind the south gate.
okay, so let's head to the south gate. That might be where we came from. Maybe not. South gate's right there. So I want to see if I can afford, if I have any money, what I can afford. Okay, sector map is this. So you can see Heron's Nebula. So we're heading back to Argon Prime. What do we got? We've got Rhymes Factory, 2 ore. I thought you could actually fly.
Gate Argon Prime.
I guess it'll, okay. Yeah, not a lot of hardcore piloting going on. You can click on it, autopilot. Extension, you had to do a little bit more.
Entering system autopilot off.
Okay, so let's see if I, for ship weapon component factory. Weapons are often a good thing to sell, but it can be a lot. So what we're looking for is just sort of getting to know the areas. So let's see if we can communicate with a ship.
Is there something I can help you with? Take a look around, wise guy. You're there.
Okay, so somewhere here is a...
Argon space equipment docks are the locations in Argon territory for upgrading space vehicles.
kinds of things we want to look at are trade software that can help you. Trading system extension might get you price information from further away. It's that kind of stuff.
Argon Stock Exchange.
Nope. Stock exchange is a way to make a lot of money, but I've never actually done it.
Argon Equipment Dock.
Is that what I was looking for?
are talking to the automated in positive. Please dock as soon as you get green position lights.
Now again, if you get the docking computer, once I think you're within 5 kilometers or something like that, it just, boom, you're automatically in. It doesn't even make you wait. Here you can sort of auto dock, and it will sort of like, the AI might get a little confused and bounce you around a little bit. Now again, like, you know, I've also been playing some Elite Dangerous. I just upgraded my flight stick to get in. That is space trucking. You're the pilot. You're controlling everything. You got the throttle. You're making little tweaks, and you know, you're dogfighting. This isn't that, and you know, this is a mouse-driven. You know, you're going to be flying, sort of, as you can see, but you're not. It's not like the minutia of flight, the way Star Citizen, the way. And like, I think you can get into fighters and stuff like that and get your stick and stuff like that, especially I've seen it in X4, but otherwise it's, you know, it's just very chill. And I think there's something interesting, you know, for some reason, like Truckin is a genre of video games people dig, right? I think it's like you're doing something, but it's not gonna, it requires skill, but it's not gonna be like Twitch or Soul's game or something like that. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit as I come in. Not that I have to, but I will. Because again, once I get close enough, I think... Oop. I thought once I got close enough it would dock. That's embarrassing. I wonder what I did wrong. I'm a little nervous that I just damaged my ship. I'm looking at my high speed now, and it's not... Maybe I was just coming in too fast. The WASD keys can sort of do your thrusters to adjust. Yeah, maybe you gotta be below a certain speed threshold. Okay.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
As you can see what other ships, that one just took off. You can see what other ships are docked here at the station. Let's see if we can do some trading.
Attention, security, we got a 0, 0.
This is special ammunition for use in the mass driver. Using the trading system extension, a pilot can request detailed price information for all goods without actually docking onto a factory or space station. This can be very useful for frequent traders.
How do we buy it?
Insufficient credits.
Oh no. Oh, it's telling me I literally have 1,000, I guess? I thought I thought some of them are red. I don't know if that means my ship can't handle them or I couldn't afford them. So I was hoping I could afford trading system. So let's get out of here. What we want to do basically is we want to... We want to get somewhere that's going to have, like, solar...
Gate the wall.
Jack up our SATA. So, yeah, solar... Like, being able to buy solar for, like, 15 or whatever, then being able to trade at, like, 20. If we can find that kind of route, that'll get us started. We really want that trade extender as fast as possible. There's a lot of things you can do to mitigate like the time sink. Again, I don't necessarily mind some of the time sink, especially at the beginning, because it's all about the space trucking and the chill experience. But,
Entering system, the wall.
okay.
Autopilot off.
These look like solar. But I'm not seeing like a super bright sun here to... Let's just double check what these are. Maybe they're a Kahuna farm, like food.
Solar power plant. L Alpha.
You are talking to the automated positive. Please dock as soon as you get green position lights.
Docking aborted. Autopilot off.
You are talking to the positive. Please dock as soon as you get green position lights.
Okay, so it turns off your setup if you get too close to a station. That's okay. So let's see what the prices are for this. Again, I could see why a lot of people choose the other starting, where you get like a ship, you can sell, you get a little starting money, so you can just go right in and buy. Now, sometimes you'll see like a solar power plant that is like there's a really bright star there. And I feel like often it actually affects the price. Maybe that's just like in my head. But I feel like I noticed that in the past playing this, and especially the extension. Below 20, just in case that matters. Okay, so let's...
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Let's trade. Okay, so yeah,
Energy cells are the unified energy storage used throughout the whole known universe. The unification of the energy storage specifications allows for interstellar trading with this most basic of all products.
There we go. So we were buying them at 13.
Energy cells bought.
Let's see where we can sell them. So we know an Argon Prime. Let's get away from the... Again, it's very one-dimensional. Two-dimensional, I mean, on the Z-planes. So if you go up or down, you're usually okay. Let's bring up Argon Prime. Let me see if we can... Info.
Argon space equipment docks are the locations in Argon territory for upgrading space vehicles.
That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for... I want to see if we can get the prices. I think we docked at the shipyard, right?
Shipyards are the heart and soul of modern society. They are factories of gigantic proportions, built to manufacture.
No, okay. Let's see, we had some... Here, let's see if we can look at the...
Ore mines are mainly built around small...
We don't know what they... because we never landed. We landed the other one then, I guess. Data?
Ore mines are mainly built around small asteroids.
Sorry about that. I guess it's Gamma.
Ore mines are mainly built
Oh, do we not?
around small
Okay, we don't get the price
asteroids
anymore because we're not there.
because of the
So
high
a satellite would help
productivity
us do
the low
that.
gravity of asteroids
I remember it was like
allow.
16 or so, right? So we could make $3 a pop. But let's see if we can... So we know we can get $13 a pop for solar here in this station. What do we got here? Again, you can see very two-dimensional in the... which direction did we come from? We came from the west gate, so we can keep going east, definitely. And I don't want to make it sound like, you know, these games got ruined as they advance. Like, there's so many things that X4 does that I bet, like, real hardcore fans would love. And you don't have to engage with all the Empire management. It's just that I feel like the game puts so much of its, I don't know how to say it, so many of the tweaks and advancements and stuff don't come to like basic trading, because once you got it, right? It comes to like the Empire management, like the station design. And it's sort of like what I was describing with Madden. You know, like Madden, the innovations come from the truck stick or the, you know, little nuances in like the pass game. It doesn't come from like we've overhauled the basic stuff. So they kind of got a model for their basics, and you know, they didn't need to keep that going, you know, so they start giving you more and more and more in other areas. It's just that I might be too dumb at the moment to play it. Again, just chill. This, you know, I've played some EVE Online, and EVE Online sort of had this chill vibe, except, I don't know, there's something about, I don't want to compare them too closely because I don't know EVE super well. But I remember EVE, you could just sort of click on something and it would sort of take care of it, and you could check something else and do something else. That's sort of this, right? Like, this is like a good podcast game. Because again, at least now I'm not like micromanaging an Empire. Eventually, you know, you'll get your first ship and you'll tell it to like, you know, go between these two stations and just make runs over and over and over, and it'll sort of rack up the profits a little bit. And it sort of snowballs like that, right? Let's see what's on the other side of this gate. Basically, I'm looking for a decent place to sell my energy cells.
System, the whole.
Now, this might be a bad place to sell them, because you can see there's kind of a bright star here, and you can see up ahead there's solar factories. So let's, oops, I think we gotta, let's just see what they're selling. So I think this rotating thing over here is like a general space station, if I'm remembering. Like sort of like a general supply store where you can sell almost most basic things. Got a sun. Got some solar stations right there. Wonder if that's a setting to like not turn off SETA every time you try and click on something. Let's bring up the sector map. Again, that slows everything down. Stations, not in range yet. Again, like, you know, I did by choice choose the most stripped down, you got nothing setting, because I like the idea of like starting from nothing and building that up. It's a fairly smooth interface to get the basics down. Like, it's not Freelancer smooth. Freelancer, like I was saying, kind of like really broke ground, and maybe I'm just unaware of the games that Freelancer's shoulders that Freelancer is standing on, but keep wanting to right click to bring up menus, and that's gonna So I think we need about $8 grand or so for the trade extension. So that's gonna be the first goal. So we're starting to fill out our map, right? We're in the hole. Looks like, yeah, we're in the hole. We've been around here. You start to make connections. Maybe there's a way, I can't tell if there's a gate to cut west to Heron's Nebula, because that might be a faster.
Solar power plant XL Beta. Solar power plants produce energy.
So we're going to land there just to get a rough idea of what the prices are.
You are talking to the positive. Please dock as soon as you get green position lights.
Now, I remember in extension, like here we can just sort of click and then auto dock, and you still have to go through it. In extension, I don't think there was any auto dock at all. So until you got the computer to do it, you had to manually fly in every single time. So here at least it speeds it up a little bit by giving you an option to just click on it and go. But yeah, like I was saying, there's something to trucking. Like it's not going to be the highest skilled level kind of game, but it still demands something from you. You make the numbers go up, so it requires some thought, you know, to go along with some mental skill. And, you know, not everything has to be like a Dark Souls boss run, right? Sometimes you just want to... I feel like the chill helps contribute to the immersion, if that makes sense, right? You're able to, you know, because there's not much to focus on, so you're just... Either you're distracted looking at your phone the whole time and making the numbers go up, or you really are like just looking at the background, taking it in, sort of, you know, thinking about it a little more abstractly instead of just manipulating it in real time, like constant microsecond decisions. Okay, so let's
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our president and senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Okay, so we're seeing they're charging 15 for theirs. We got ours for 13, so that's good. We got a better price. Let's see if we can... Let's see what these stations are over here and what they might... Almost everybody needs power. Eventually you're going to get used to the... Let's see. Stations, wings, sectors, personnel statistics. Freight, what are we carrying? Yeah, everybody needs energy cells. So yeah, I mean, if, in a perfect world, we'd sell them for about 20. We'd make 7 credits per, make 420. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but you know, eventually you get enough to get this, and then you get enough to look at that, and then you get enough to buy a second ship, and you sort of claw your way out. And that's the thing I really get a kick out of with these X games. It's not hard, right? It's not like it's not going to happen. You just grind it. But yeah, let me just see something really quickly.
Video enhancement goggles not installed.
Just curious what happens if I click away. So it looks like you lose audio, but it still runs the game. Like Lord of the Rings Online, if you click away for any reason, like the game chokes. Frame rates drop. I'm getting 180 frames per second. That's the other thing, you know, I do like to sometimes showcase like older games. This game's at least, I would guess, 12 to 15 years old. I don't know that for certain. Let me actually, now that I'm clicked out, like X3 Albion Prelude release date. December 15th, 2011. And this was the final chapter in the X3 series. There's X3, then there's X3 Terran Conflict, and then X3 Albion Prelude. Fans of the series prefer certain ones to others. I couldn't tell you. Most people, I think, go with Albion Prelude, but I think there's some people out there that go for Terran Conflict. Okay, yeah, audio kicks back in. Okay. So I'm curious if this is going to be, so again, like that rotating one's like a standard general station. I'm wondering if this is going to be some kind of like Kahuna steak factory, or let's find out what it is. Again, like a weapons platform kind of factory would probably need a lot of energy cells. Probably be writing this stuff down. So let's go back to the sector. Nope, this. I think I got the wall. 13 in the wall. I'm looking for a place to sell. I think Heron's Nebula could sell it for 16. Let's see if we can do a little better. I wish I kept the SETA active while I was... Not seeing anything there. I don't want to mess with it now because I'm really curious what I could throw on an alternate monitor. You wouldn't see it because it's only going to record this main 1440p. I'm curious. Controls? I don't think I need to invert anything yet. I think it's okay. Game. Again, I could fly with my interface. Okay. Let's take a look.
You are talking to the automated interaction system. Make your request.
So it's a wheat farm.
Please dock as soon as you get green position lights.
Coming around the other side. Oh, it's not going to let me. Okay. You know, while it's doing that, let me double check controls again. Controls. Game. I want to know, how do you, like, boost extension tab? It's not working. That's what I thought it was, but... Oh, there we go. Get here in the lane 5x5, and now again, yeah, like in you know, and Matt's done some on the channel, and I enjoyed watching it. You know, like you get into Elite Dangerous, and you know, you get the landing platform, you got to get the orientation correct, you got to get the exact level and then drop down. There's a lot of little micro things you got to do to control the ship, and sometimes I sit there and going like, I don't know if this makes sense. Let's see what info.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network.
Energy cells 12 woof, so I'd lose money if I sold it here.
Attention all departing parties.
Let's get out of here. And by get out of here, I mean let's get out of this sector. You can sort of see one of these advertising. Oh man, there's a word for this shape and I can't think of it. Sort of like this donut. So it looks like we might have got the south gate, but I'm wondering if we have gates. I'm heading north, so there's clearly a gate that way. Now in X4, they sort of actually, as much as they might complicate things, that's a strong way to put it, but in X4, often they will start you in a sector that's on like a giant superhighway. And a lot of people, what they do is they just hop on the superhighway and just sit back for a while and let your ship get autopiloted around a number of sectors just to get basic info of like what's where and stuff like that. I don't know if X4 allows you to get like, you know how we're trying to save up for that trade extension. I don't know if like the ships just come with it built in. I'm not sure. But there might be something to just sort of getting the lay of the land. Maybe you get a bunch of info right off the bat. You gotta be careful. You can collide with other ships, so you don't want to just park yourself here. A lot of times autopilot will like put you a little off to the side. That'll help avoid some collisions as you go through a gate. So let's see where we end up.
Entering system, Antigone Memorial.
Yeah, you want to accelerate and get out of the way. Okay, so Antigone Memorial has a solar panel, so maybe they're not going to need too much. They've got the wheat farms all over the place. That triangle is. They got a general station. Curious what's here though. So let's head towards that. I don't recognize it by its shape. Eventually, yeah, you'll be able to recognize it all by its shape.
Cattle Ranch.
Cattle Ranch.
You are talking to positive. Please dock as soon as you get green position lights.
So it looks like you can make like micro corrections or something still in SETA. Little thrusters. I think I'm not moving. Okay. Okay, let's see what they got for info.
Docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Okay, so we can sell them for 15 here. That's not great. You know what? Let's, again, because they have solar plants here, it's probably not the best place to do it. So what you want to do is you want to find a place that doesn't. Let's just see what the main trading station has it for. Again, we're starting to fill out our map a little bit. Not sure what that C stands for.
You
You are talking to the automated interaction system.
Might be a
Make
mission.
your request.
Okay, so that might be a mission you can do. I don't know if there's, like I said, there is a campaign mission, so maybe that's what that is.
Positive. Please dock as soon as you get green position lights.
At some point, it's going to just make sense, like, just start making money, even if it's only 2 credits per, just do something. All right, let's trade.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Okay, I'm not seeing any by law license that lets you sort of be deputized to kill pirates. Engine tuning will let you go a little faster. Rudder optimization obviously makes you a little more nimble. but I'm not seeing what I was hoping to see, which is that they buy energy cells. So let's get out of here. And let's, is there a way to tell my sort of compass direction? Try that gate. Bring up this map to see which direction I'm facing. Sort of going north, I guess. Again, if I had the resources, I could scan these asteroids to see if they are rich with ore. Not going to the south gate, I know that. I'm hopefully going to the north gate. Not sure what that's... That must be the z-axis. Again, I wish SETA remained active while I was looking at maps. Maybe that's something at some point will change. I don't know. Because again, like here, even just minute adjustments, I thought I could do not slow down. I want to say that things are like fully destructible. Like I feel like these asteroids, maybe it's in later games, I feel like I've seen asteroids get destroyed. Okay, it's letting me do free. Okay, maybe that's the trick. I think that shutdown was because I was getting close to an object. So there's some, what we got here?
Pirate Eclipse.
Closing in.
Pirate Centaur. Pirate Nova. Gate Power Circle.
Just trying to get in before the pirates got to me.
Entering
Whoa.
system Power Circle.
So you might imagine that Power Circle is not where I want to be. But it might be good to recall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and just land and just get an idea. We're getting the power. So Power Circle to Heron's Nebula might be a faster if these prices are good.
Solar power.
You are talking to the automated interact. Positive. Please dock as soon as you get green position lights.
Here we got to get under the solar panels. There we go. You see the green lights right there. And eventually you'll start to know these places like the back of your hand. There might be like 60 or 70 sectors, I don't really know. But it's not not small, it's not insignificant. And then different sectors are controlled by different factions.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our president and senator,
so they're selling them for
the
15.
Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Probably because it's maybe a small station. Maybe that's what that is. Okay, so I feel like we've gotten a decent... Might not be as two-dimensional as I thought. Here I'm sort of looking up and down, and it's got a lot of... Alright, let's see if we can make our way to Heron's Nebula. I don't know if I'm heading south or not. Heading west. Maybe this is west and that would be the south gate. Again, it's all about like the space views. Let's... Got some, So maybe this is more about the, ore than the power. I don't know why this is such a dumb thing. Like, we don't sit there like counting every subscriber. Like, we love that, we appreciate having subscribers and stuff like that. But it's not like what I mean by that is we don't do things geared towards gaining subscribers as fast as possible, if that makes sense. You know, we could probably focus the channel a little more. We could do more with thumbnails or whatever algorithm stuff, and we don't really do it because we're not. Our goal isn't to our goal is to like put these games out there, especially the actual plays, and you know, hopefully you get to see a system in action. It's a little fun, whatever it is. But it's still, I gotta say, it still like stings a little bit when we lose a subscriber. Because it makes me wonder, like, I wish I could know, like, what did they come here looking for? Because I feel like we're pretty upfront, and what did we do to, like, push them away? And again, it's not that we would then go back and, like, you know what, we need to tailor what we do for this or that. But I'd be curious to know, because our intentions, you know, are not to drive people away or annoy them. The only reason why is because I just saw it, like, you know, on one of my side monitors, I was checking something and I left it up on one of the channel pages for YouTube, and I just saw the number drop down by 1. I was like, oh, that's too bad. Since it's probably because of me, you know, because you know, I'll do solo content or I'll do these CRPG things in between the main event, which are the actual plays when Matt, Patrick, and I can all get on. So, see what's going on here. So to whoever just unsubscribed, I apologize. I hope we didn't annoy you. Whoops. Wish you the best, etc., etc. But it does sting a little. You know, our goal isn't to have like 50,000 subscribers and monitor. Like, you know, we just, you know, we're having fun. We hope the people who enjoy watching this stuff have fun watching it or getting to see systems in action. I often wonder, is it like because somebody jumped in because at one point I did Dragonbane solo and I haven't done it since? But at the same time, at some point we might get back to Dragonbane. Like, it's hard to say.
Gate Heron's Nebula.
Anyway.
Entering system Heron's Nebula.
Okay, let's get some speed and get out of the way of the gate. Okay, so we've been here before. I think. Yeah. Okay, so let's... Oh, now why is this got a...
Ore mines are mainly built around small...
Let's see what this thing is down there. You know what I wish I did? I wish I set up a hotkey on my Stream Deck to turn off my camera layer. Because then what I could do is I could let something run while I stood up and refilled my beverage. I mean, I guess I could just do that and just stare at a blank thing for a little while.
Space fuel distillery.
You are talking to positive. Please dock
That's what they
as
need.
soon as you get green position lights.
So basically right now I'm just looking, let's make some profits. Let's get going. I think we got energy cells in the wall for 13. Start making a little money.
Successfully docked.
18.
On behalf
There we
of
go.
our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
All right, now I just need to figure out how to do it.
Attention on the flight deck. A ship is landing.
Energy cells
Yeah, no, I
are the
don't want to do that. I just want to trade.
argon. Energy cells are the unified energy storage used throughout the whole known universe. The unification of the energy storage specifications allow energy cells sold.
Okay. So it's not...
You have gained recognition.
So I'm going to get some reputation, obviously. And, yeah, I made a little bit of money. You know, maybe like $300. Is it a lot? No. Is there anything we can... What do they sell here? I don't know if...
Argon whiskey is never traded openly by members of the Argon race. It is known as space fuel and is smuggled in containers known as fuel tanks, as only few stations have a trading concession.
Okay, so... This is just flat out illegal. We're not going to go for that. Let's make another run. So we want to go back to the wall. So let's bring up this. The wall is south and east. I think that's the south gate. You can see the little S right above it. So let's head towards that. And, yeah, I'm gonna just mute my mic and run off camera for a little bit and let this fly over and go refill my drink. How we doing? Make much make much progress at the SETA? Anyway. Yeah, but as you can see, like, this is a good one of these. Like, you know, at the time of this recording and or Season 2 just came out, like, if I wanted to catch up and rewatch Season 1, because I think it's the pinnacle of Star Wars, this is not a bad game to do it to. So let's, you know, while they're doing this, let me see if there's a way to say, let's see, X3, Albion Prelude, best starting good to trade. Let's see. Energy cells and ore. Okay. So it's saying here like a good... It's actually giving you like sectors like Ore Belt and Emperor Mines. I don't know where these are. I haven't discovered them yet. Now, I think the universe is pretty static. So if you were familiar at least with like earlier X3 games, you could probably sort of speed run to these types of places. I'm obviously not familiar. I don't recall. It's interesting. At the time of this recording, you know, because again, this is mainly an RPG channel. Foundry, the main virtual tabletop we use, just released stable version 13.
Entering system Argon Prime.
I know I've talked about this. Now we want to get to the east gate, get to the wall.
Gate the wall.
So I'm sort of following closely how long it takes the main rule sets that we use to catch up and start getting, like, I think 2d6, which is for like Traveler, and it's the Cepheus Deluxe, but it can be used for like Mongoose Traveler. I think that's ready to go. They're always really good about that stuff. They're always, and I don't know if it's just that their system. No, that's a pretty robust system. But I'm curious ones like my Mithras, how long that's going to take, because that's just like the volunteer efforts of like 1 or 2 guys. I know Harn, Columbia Games' Harn, is now focusing on Harn Master, like the other one that's not Columbia Games. The Columbia Games version of it is going to be sort of...
System, the wall, autopilot off.
Okay, so we're at the wall.
Solar power plant, L Alpha. Docking granted.
Let's see if I need to...
Autopilot activated.
Because last time when I did the comms and then the autopilot, it sort of screwed up. Like it sort of... I don't think I need to communicate, let me land. Hoping the autopilot just lets me do it. Because again, but the advantage to not doing it yourself is, like, this will put you way at the end of the lights and get you there. But boom, there you go. So now we're going to trade.
Successfully docked.
On behalf
Oh,
of
no.
our President
15.
and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Let me try the other one.
Connection to local trading network established.
Did supply change?
Solar power plant, L Alpha.
Slow down.
You are talking to the...
Connection to local trading network
this might be the same one.
established.
Because if it's up to 15, we're not going to make much money. So let's get away from here. Let's bring up the sector map. We've got... Let's go to this one.
You are talking to the automated
Solar power plant, M Beta. Docking granted.
Okay.
Autopilot activated.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to see what are the like Symbarum is one that we're playing right now. I'm curious, and it's kind of interesting because, you know, Matt uses Foundry VTT has like a really nice online cloud sort of setup, and like, you know, they're not the only ones, but they do offer it.
Successfully docked.
16
On
shit.
behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Shit. Let's see if we can do some ore. I think the hole had plenty of ore. West, we want north. Can't tell if this is east. And west. South. Okay, that's not. That's not where would south take us? We don't know. Okay. We want to go north. So let's there it is.
Gate the hole.
And you can hear the ship computer. We'll give you information like the hole. It'll tell you what sector you're going to if you've been there before. But I think what I was saying before, maybe I don't know if I completed this thought, but you know, when I was saying like how like in Elite Dangerous it's got the stick and the minute corrections and the controls, and it's really like you're flying a world. I don't want to say World War II fighter in the literal sense, but it's not always super automated. Like, you know, regardless of how well they're currently working, like we sort of have cars that can drive themselves. So the idea that you would have to like micro control a spaceship 2,000 years in the future often feels like a disconnect, where here you know, and then EVE Online, it's very point and click, which doesn't feel wrong, but maybe it's a little too simplified to always be interesting, because it's not. It's meant to be just like a click, go, right click, do things, it'll take care of itself. But in some ways that almost feels...
Entering system, autopilot off.
Thematically, it makes sense. This feels like a nice mix. The whole... Okay. There are asteroids here, or is it just these two power plants? It might just be these two power plants. But, you know, to the point, like, you know, the economy is, you know, at least quasi-dynamic. So when I buy a bunch of energy cells from a station, it's going to have a lower supply, which is going to potentially change its price. So that might be part of the problem. If I give them time to restock, I'm assuming, you know, basic economics, their prices might start to go down to help move them. Ore is definitely more profitable. Power Circle had a lot of ore, so maybe we keep heading there. Hey.
Solar power plant. XL Beta. Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
All right. Yeah, I think on Twitch, one of the guys I used to watch every once in a while, mostly he would do Elite Dangerous. I think it was something like that. Maybe Star Citizen. I forget what it was. It was like a space sim like that. But then he also just like...
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
The rest of the time he just streams, like he's constantly running like Star Trek Deep Space Nine streams.
We would like to remind all visitors to visit our special sales area.
Energy cells are 16.
Products are not bought.
Okay, so buying them at 16, so I gotta be careful.
Cells bought.
Wait, what was that? You? No. Display on monitor. I'm trying to figure out what this is. Oh, maybe I can... I guess I could move the menus to other monitors. That would be interesting. Again, I don't want to mess with it now because I don't want to screw up the recording. Okay, so let's figure out a place to get to. Again, usually, like if you're in a sector right next to where there's a bunch of power supplies, power stations, it's not gonna make much money. But so I mean, it makes sense. I can't just go one sector over and just go nuts. Let's see. Heading, I guess north ish. Although it's not, that's the north gate, so this must be east, maybe? Let's see what's out there. Yeah, at the time of this recording, again, I don't know when it'll actually go up, when there's like a hole in the schedule, but I've been doing Lord of the Rings book quests, and I did a long stream on Twitch to finally get through the end of Volume 2. So, looking forward to starting Volume 3 next time soon. This is West. Have I been West? West is going to be Heron's Nebula? Okay, let's just do that. And then I've also been doing Ultima 5, and much like Darklands, I sort of hit a point.
System, Heron's Nebula.
I hit a sort of a stopping point where, like, in Darklands, I hit a point where I'm like, I think I'm kind of stuck-ish. You can get out of it, but it would just... In Darklands, I felt like I'd have to almost restart my party. In Ultima 5, I would have to just start grinding levels, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to ruin the fun I'm having by turning it into a chore. Distillery, space fuel distillery. I'm wondering if there was... like a weapons platform. Or something that would be like energy intensive.
Rhymes fact. M. Alpha. A Rhymes fact is the manufacturing site for the great bolts of plasticized cloth.
Ooh, they're low on energy cells, you see there?
Used by many races.
So let's head there. So yeah, you look at the, you see they got
the manufacturing site for the great bolts of
very low on energy cells, so hopefully we can get lucky here. Let's see if it'll let us auto dock.
Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
Now again, I think because we've probably landed there, maybe when we're in the system we still get the info. But when we can save up for a satellite, we can dump it somewhere off the main traveling axes and constantly get that info fed to us. Curious what this 68% is. Is that because I took damage when I collided and blue is the shields? Now, hopefully another ship didn't get in here and beat us to it.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our president
19,
and
not bad.
senator, The Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Okay,
Energy
again,
cells are the unified energy storage used throughout the whole known universe. The unification of the energy storage energy cells sold.
now let's see, they might still be paying 19.
A Rhymes fact is the manufacturing site for the
Because they're
Great
still
Wall.
hard pressed for it.
Gate the hole.
So let's see if we can do a couple quick runs. Maybe get 15, 16. You know, again, it's not making a ton of money. Maybe we can get another 19 out of that station before the prices start to drop as their supply gets stable enough. So I often talk about how, you know, film this, film that, you know, my day job is a film thing. But as an undergraduate, I actually majored in economics. And not that I'm some like savant at any of that. I probably don't remember much of it. For a hot second, I was like, oh, maybe I'll go into banking after college. That turned out not to be for me. I would have been probably terrible at it. But this, I gotta say, this does scratch some of that itch. Like, I'm making deals, bro. I'm buying at 16, selling at 19. That's just profit. You know, it's dumb. It's dumb stuff like that. So let's see what it does. So it puts me at 100%. So let's see if we can get to a solar power plant.
Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
So again, you sort of see that it's a little hands off. Let me see if I can get info on this place while we're flying toward
Solar
it.
power plant. Solar power plants produce energy.
It's got a pretty
They
high
are
stock,
found everywhere in the known universe and are
but it's not maxed out.
autopilot off.
You know what? Let's just see.
Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
Yeah, I'm not like going full like Wolf of Wall Street here, but it does scratch some of that itch. You know. And I don't feel like this is the best. Like I'm not like, again, there's not like some blaring star like right here to crank these solar power plants into overdrive. But let's see what we can get, because again, it's a pretty quick run if we can get a decent enough price. 15, 16.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our president and
13.
senator,
Perfect.
the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Nice.
Energy cells bought.
And dock. Again, we're looking to go to Heron's Nebula, so we want the west gate. Let's see, yeah, if we can make a quick couple of runs here. Yeah, and you know, like this is part of why I wanted to show this was because, one, I wanted to say, like, you know, these X games are really interesting, but I also wanted to show what it kind of is, or at least what it can be. You know, it's not an action-packed thrill ride. Like, you know, Freelancer, besides being like a good sort of light space role-playing game sim, it's kind of like an action movie sort of story. Like, there's a lot like conspiracies and mysteries and betrayals and Elite Dangerous is all about like the piloting in the moment. I'm going to crash into, no, maybe not.
Entering system, Heron's Nebula.
And this is very much, in my mind, like a thinking kind of Rhymes Factory. Is that what we're looking at? Let's see, info.
Rhymes Fact is the manufacturing
Ooh, no,
site for the
that's not
great
it.
bolts of plastic. This production facility
They're pretty low
manufactures
on.
high-yield
I'm wondering if another ship got to that.
This secret factory is the
They're pretty good
distillery
on.
that ore mines are mainly built around.
Oh, they're very
small
low on. Okay.
asteroids.
I don't know what they're paying
Because
for
of
it,
the
but I know
higher
their
productivity that the low
stock is low. So let me. Was
ore
it Gamma?
mines are
It was
made.
Gamma. Okay.
Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
Again, it's like, it's a very quick click, click. You're not actually flying moment to moment. Again, I could bust out my stick, but I feel like these games actually work a little better mouse and keyboard because of the fact you're going back and forth through the menus. Like Elite Dangerous is very much just, all the menus are right there in the ship as sort of panels, and it's sort of very immersive. So it makes sense to like map controls to like hats on your joystick or your throttle to, control the head around the cockpit. Now, I know Matt has done Elite Dangerous on the Twitch channel, and then he's also, I think, he hasn't done it on the Black Lodge channel, but, he has another podcast called History on the Table, which is about, like, conflict simulation, war games kind of stuff.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Oh, shit.
Connection to local trading network
It just got resupplied.
established.
Shit! All right, let's, or did we click the wrong one?
Attention! Today there is a sale in the toy shop on level 9. Don't miss the special offers.
Ore mines are mainly built
Yeah, no, it's
around
Gamma. Why are we at the... Select as
ore
target.
mine M Gamma.
Oh, maybe because I forgot to select it as a target. Okay, let's get out of here.
Docking granted.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't letting me
Autopilot
choose that. Let's see.
activated.
For some reason it did now. I was just nervous there. I thought some other supply ship beat us to it, but I just clicked on the Rhymes Factory instead of the ore mine. Ore mines need a lot of power, so it makes sense that they would...
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Okay.
Connection to local trading network established.
Still don't have a ton of cells. See, they're going through them pretty quick. So this might actually be the run. This might be our starting... Okay, let's get to sector map. We want the east gate. Select as target.
Gate the hole.
What's the autopilot? Shift A. Okay. But I know Matt does like some trucking and some train simulators on his History on the Table channel sometimes. I think it's been a while since he streamed. But I think it's sort of a similar kind of thing. It's just that space kicks more ass. But I think it's the same vibe where it's like, like running a train, like you're on rails, sort of like we're kind of on rails here. You just got to manage speed a little bit. You got to make a few decisions here and there, but it's not like the most, again, like clicks per minute kind of thing like a MOBA or anything like that. Yeah, and you're like, okay, let's make a profit on this run, and let's, it's just the joy of doing it, experiencing it. And if you find like, again, just I want to be out in space doing my spaceship shit, but I don't want to, because like even Freelancer is very action arcadey, so you had to be good-ish to
Entering system the hole.
dogfight and stuff. Okay, let's see how they're doing.
Solar power plants produce energy. They
Not
are
a
found
ton, but is there
everywhere.
another one? Okay, so let's T.
Solar power plant. XLB. Autopilot off.
Where is it? It's over there. There's another one there. So let's head to the other one and see what they're up to. At least get them both on our radar. Again, if I could find like a... I could just like Google the map, but that feels like... Oh, I mean, yeah, you could just Google the map and say like, okay, so this sector is known to have like really cheap energy cells. This one, you know, has a lot of whatevers that need it. So then you can just sort of Google a starting run. I kind of like this idea of like discovering it, even though I probably, if you were trying to think of it logically or thematically, I'd probably would have more knowledge of general space than I do. You know, like as an adult, I've been lucky enough to travel to a few different places around the world, a few different places around the country. So I just have knowledge of stuff that I don't know what the equivalent would be here, but it might be more than just Argon Prime when you started. Like I might know, like, I've never been to Iceland, but I know where it is. You know, I've never been to Egypt, but I know where it is. I've heard of them, right? So maybe you start as a slightly more blank slate than is kind of logical. Maybe X4 fixes that. And if not, the superhighway that takes you around the map certainly does if you just let it do its magic for half an hour. Again, we need to get about $8,000, 8,000 credits for that trade extension, and that will let me actually see the prices, not just a general vibe on their supply. Again, for some reason, this boost wasn't all the way up, so I don't know why. I was maxed out on my acceleration level, like 100%, but...
Solar power plant. XL Alpha. Solar power plants.
Okay, they're pretty
produce
stocked.
energy. They are found everywhere.
Okay, Shift D.
Docking granted.
I just want to get some of the
Autopilot
keyboard commands down just to speed it up a little bit. Yeah, like I was saying, one guy, he just streams Star Trek Deep Space Nine on his feed while sometimes he flies, sometimes he just sits there watching it.
On behalf of our president and senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
I'm sure he's not the only one. I'm sure that
Energy
happens all the time. Like, just...
Would the owner of the freight container 92782 please report to the customs center? Some clearance papers are missing.
Nice. Not for that freighter owner, but nice. Okay, so now we want to get back to Heron's Nebula, right?
Gate. Heron's Nebula. Autopilot activated.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I just don't know that. It seems crazy that that would be a thing, but at the same time. And I guess that's the thing. Do people, like, it's not like he was interacting with people who might also be watching the episode. I know some people in the past have gotten in trouble because they're like doing reaction stuff when then they just don't talk the whole time. So it's just like you're a copyright infringement. But I don't know. Since I do work for that type of stuff, I don't love it. But I get that people do it. So like at the time of this recording, Patrick and I are going to be, I don't know if it's going to happen. Hopefully it'll happen, but I guess, schedules always change, but we're going to run like a one shot of, this like.
Entering system, Heron's Nebula. Ore mines are mainly built around
They've got plenty of energy
asteroids.
cells. What about beta?
Ore mines are mainly built
They're
around
out.
small asteroids.
So let's hit up beta.
Ore mine M beta. Autopilot off. Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
So that might just be the trick. We can keep, if we can keep grabbing solar cells cheap and then finding one of these ores that have sort of depleted their supply. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be running a one-shot of, it's a very rules light, Forged in the Dark inspired cyberpunk game called Black Ice. But we're going to be using some this is slightly tangent. It's not pirating, but it's like AI. He wants to try an experiment where we do some AI stuff to see how it works, for the game. And I get really apprehensive about AI because, again, I work sort of in a business where, the writer's strike that occurred with the Writers Guild of America, a big part of it was like AI protections, AI, I edit television commercials, you can sort of AI edit by feeding it a script and then just editing the document, and then AI sort of chops it up for you. And that's not a bad thing. It can get a lot of the grunt early stages work kind of, but you just never know where it's going to proceed to.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
All right.
Energy cells sold.
So we've just sort of doubled our money. So what I'm going to do is I'll pause it. I'm not going to make you listen to me talk the entire time. Let me go do some runs for a while. I'll pause this. And we'll come back when we've got a little more money and go from there. So let me pause this. Okay, so we're back. And it's been interesting. I haven't made a ton of money. What I've done is I've sort of gone around and explored a little bit. This is Orbelt. Maybe Home of Light. A lot of these are another race's area of space. I did discover a couple of things, though. One might be a bit of a hassle. Let me see where I'm trying to go before. Can I go... Okay, that's east. So if that's east, let's try going north.
Kahuna Bakery. M Alpha.
Let's get some info on this to see.
Kahuna bakeries are huge orbit factories processing Argnu beef into meat steaks.
Okay.
Armies of robots are needed to maintain the complex process. During more than a dozen stages, the raw meat is slowly processed into the food product, generally known as meat steaks.
So one of the things I think I discovered, which is actually going to be a problem, now I'm starting to realize why you don't choose this as a starting, the TC, I think that's like a trader class. I don't know if that's literally what it stands for, but MS, so that's the size of the ship. So ore, which I was expecting to be the next thing I started trading, is like XL or L, and I can't do it. So I might be in a little bit of trouble for what to trade to make a little more money than... So this Kahuna Bakery might be one thing, ore might be out until I can get a bigger ship. I was looking at some bigger ships. Now there's one that has like an L rating. I don't even know if that's big enough. I might need a XL. I can get for like it's either 70 or 90,000 credits. So I It could be a long way away. I can upgrade the cargo capacity of this ship in order to at least carry more per run. But I feel like any money... I'm actually hesitating now to spend any money on this ship in order to just put it all toward at least getting a bigger freighter. So even if I'm still transporting energy cells, I'm transporting 10 times as many. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think about how I want to approach this and what I want to do. Again, like, this is the kind of thinking man stuff, not that I'm a smart guy, but it's a different kind of challenge, right? It's not a manipulative, can I time...
Entering system, red light.
The Elden Ring DLC boss correctly. It's, how am I going to approach this? Or do I just slug it out? So red light, let's see if we haven't been here before. So we've got an east, which is going to take us to Home of Light. I don't know if there's a north. There might not be a north. I don't know. I mean, I know I said this over and over about Freelancer as well. I think this game is downright beautiful. Let me take a look around. I really like the look of this. Also got blown up at one point. I don't know. Like, I've been doing what I did earlier where I sort of set myself on a path and then go do something. Like, I had to hang curtains. And I got blown up, so I don't know if I got attacked by pirates or if something else happened. I got blown up another time because the autopilot, it navigated me into the side of a station and just sort of pounded it until I exploded. So that was unfortunate. Those are the two deaths. I lost a little bit of money on one of those. Not so much on the other, but okay, so we've got a south gate, so we've got an east gate. Let's it's gonna be a silicon. Let's check, see what this is. I'm going max speed. Again, that can be upgraded as well. So you got sort of the same kind of grind as you might have in like Elite Dangerous, where you're putting all your money into, like, you know, maxing out your ship stats. So that's...
Crystal Fab M Alpha. Crystal fabs produce many crystals that are used in the manufacturing processes of particle accelerators found in many laser factories. Crystals are produced from silicon wafers.
So you're sort of seeing like silicon wafers. If I want to trade those, I think I need an XL size transport. I am definitely not. It looks like I can do medium and small. I don't know about large. So that is going to be something. Let's plant that. Let's speed up there. So yeah, so we've got a little bit more of space explored. There's something right there. I don't know what that is. That's an asteroid, obviously, but it looks like, oh, there it is. It's other ships. Let me see if I go here. Ships. Argon military. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Most likely. I remember back in the day, Extension, there's definitely some YouTube videos out there, but there's not a ton. I almost thought about doing that just because there is such a dearth of modern videos on it, but I was like, maybe someday I'll just do a quick run through. But I used to think that was just like the prettiest game. This is 20 years ago, but I was at least, it was more than that. 25 maybe. And I'm still sort of flabbergasted by sort of the graphics of this series. X4 looks even better in a lot of ways, obviously. But, yeah, I'm a big fan of how these games look. The audio, again, it's mostly the music. I gotta say, the audio, I'm looking over here at my flight stick. I'm usually looking at my RPGs. The audio to Elite Dangerous is stunning. Like, the audio design for, like, your ship doing things like hard points, retracting or extending or jumping in and out of, and I forget the name of it, when you sort of go into like light speed, all the systems, all the noises, it's really, really well done.
Entering system, Ringo Moon.
Ringo Moon, all right. So it looks like we got a connection from Ringo Moon to Argon Prime. That's going to be that gate over to our right. Again, if I had more money, I would just I might fly straight up and pop a satellite out and hope nobody ever bothers it. And I could start getting information in this whole sector. I'd be doing that with every sector. When I was playing Extension, that's kind of what I did. I got a little, because I didn't want to really own stations, assuming you can do that. I wanted to just fly ships. And so I eventually saved up enough money to get a couple of pretty big trading ships. And then I would get like a really fast scout fighter. And I'd load it up with as many satellites as I could carry. And I'd hit there, I'd dogfight a little bit, pop a satellite out, and then suddenly that system's information was added to the database, and I was setting up trade routes, and it was a lot of fun. Might not sound like a lot of fun, but I was having a good time at least. What do we got? Stations, nothing yet. Again, there at the bottom is just a general trading station.
Cattle Ranch, M Beta.
See what these guys do. Can I run kahuna stakes?
Argon cattle ranches are large farms used to breed the creature known as the Argnu, farmed for its processed blocks of meat steak known as kahuna.
So that might be the raw resource needed for kahuna steak factories. What's this out here? And it looks like I can trade them. But that one didn't have a ton of inventory. Was this some kind of shipyard or something?
Kahuna Bakery, M Beta. Kahuna bakeries are huge orbit factories processing Argnu beef into meat steaks.
Okay. So they have a supply of kahunas. The one next door might not have as many. Let's see if this one has more. So I gotta say, that was a bit of a disappointment when I learned that I didn't have the trading capacity to do ore, because that's a simple one to get going on.
Cattle Ranch. Argon cattle ranches are large
really low
farms
stocks.
used to breed the creature known as the Argnu, farmed for its processed
It's because they don't have
blocks of
plankton and
meat steak
scruffin fruits?
known as kahunas.
I don't even know where you get that stuff. Okay, so let's just take a quick peek here. We've got 2 cattle ranches. Let's look at this one.
Argon cattle ranch.
Nope. This one?
Argon cattle
Really low
ranches
stocks,
are
so
large-
okay. That's east. So there's an east and a north. We know what's east. Let's head north. Is there a west? Doesn't seem to be. Also, it's little dumb things I learned, like what the left and right monitor is when you... It's not actually physical monitors. If you look up in the upper left-hand corner, you see North Gate. It's there. Like if I put this on display monitor right, you'll see it. There you go. And then you can close it. I don't know if that's... When you get more advanced, maybe that's a lot more useful. Or maybe you could stick like one of your trading ships. You could see if it's getting hit by something, maybe? I don't know.
Argon cattle ranches are... Argon cattle ranch... Argon
Yeah,
cattle...
they all have really low stock. The other cool thing about these games is that they support mods, so I know there's like Star Wars total conversions. So if you want to like space truck and a Millennium Falcon, it's a, whatever that is, a Coruscant trait, whatever those are called. I've got the Star Wars source books over there, but just out of reach. But yeah, I mean, you can do that. I don't know how perfect it is. There's also like rebalance mods, because I know a lot of people like want it to be more complicated or more difficult, or I don't know what. So you can definitely get mods, I think, for all of them, but you know, I know a lot of people mod Albion Prelude for the X3 line because it was sort of the last one. Although some people prefer vanilla just because it's, I don't want to say it's easier like it's casual mode. I mean, it's easier like some of the mods can make it pretty difficult.
System, Cloud Base, Northwest.
Okay, Cloud Base Northwest. We know we got a connection from Argon to Ringo Moon. We can probably get from Cloud Base Northwest to Heron's Nebula. Let's just see what we got going on here first. Let's see what that one is. I feel bad because I've seen those three-pronged ones before and I can't remember what they are, so what's this?
Laser Tower Factory.
Okay.
Alpha. This factory produces laser towers developed to become the ultimate defense for all stations. With a powerful laser that only fits into laser towers, these weapons are considered to be substantially advanced in comparison to previous forms of weaponry.
Okay, so what we're seeing here is that the XL is definitely blocked out for ore, so I can't do that. L is also blocked out, so I'm not going to... So it looks like I can do small and medium. I can get an L... Man, they got no inventory. I can get an L size ship again for like 70, 80, 90, somewhere around there, but I'm a long way from that. So I guess if I were looking to like space truck and I just wanted to jump right in, I would have taken that basic trader. You get two ships with that. You get a sort of a faster fighter ship and you get a bigger trader. So you can, if you know you can do both, or you know you can sell one of them if you know you want to do the other. And anyway.
Wheat Farm. Argon wheat farms are vast factories with large indoor spaces used for growing Delaxian wheat.
But who uses Delaxian wheat? I assume the Kahuna people do.
Argon cattle ranches are large
No?
farms.
Bakery, maybe?
Kahuna bakeries are huge orbit factories processing Argnu beef into meat steaks.
Okay, so let's grab some. Let's do a trade.
Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
I didn't check to see if they had good inventory or not. Because there's another one next door, so if this doesn't work out, I'll just jump over there. trade.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our president and
It's
senator,
not amazing.
the Argon
Oh,
Federation
no, that's pretty good.
welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Okay, so we bought it for 22.
Deluxe.
Let's save, just because I haven't saved in a while. The other thing is, I mean, at this point, X4 has been out for 7-8 years or something. I was going to say, sometimes these games can be a little touchy when they first come out, but obviously this has been pretty stable. Which makes sense, because again, it's not a new game. But I haven't had much issue with X4 really either, but maybe there's still... Okay, we're looking to go to the south gate. Anyway, I know these. So sometimes I was watching how to get started in X3 or X4, and some of them, what they're talking about isn't so much like how to play. It's more like strategies, approaches you can take. So I just wanted you to see I don't know if these games strike people as intimidating, but it's one of those things. If I'm almost smart enough to figure out some of it, almost anybody can figure this out. So. It's really not that bad, especially if you know, you're just going to do some basic stuff in the beginning. You don't have to, I know it seems like a ton of menus. X4, I think, is one...
Entering system, Ringo Moon.
X4 is one more level up.
Off.
So...
Argon cattle ranches are large farms used to breed the creek. Kahuna bakeries are huge orbit factories.
Shit,
processing
they have got plenty of
Argon
wheat.
beef into meat steaks. Armies of robots.
I'm just going to set this as a target just to...
Beta. Cattle Ranch, Kahuna Bakery, Cattle Ranch, El Gamma.
Maybe that's another bakery off in the distance. It's going to be a ship, like a large capital ship going on patrol. I think there's obviously ways to trade with ships themselves, and I feel like that's one of those, if I knew what I was doing, that's one of those secrets of how to make money faster. I want to see what this is right here. Or this. These might be bakeries. Trying to judge by it. I think these shapes are supposed to sort of give you an idea of what they are.
Kahuna Bakery, El Alpha.
Okay, let's turn this off. Let's get
Kahuna
this.
Bakeries are huge.
They're low on wheat. Okay, that's great. Let's see about this one.
Kahuna Bakeries are huge.
About the same.
Orbit. Kahuna Bakery, El Alpha. Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
So again, we bought for 22. Let's see what we can sell them for.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our president
39.
and senator,
That's definitely
the
more.
Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
22. So I made 17 per instead of just 5. So let's do another one. Want to run? Let's do another run of that. Here's north.
Gate, cloud base,
Oops.
northwest.
Anyway, the main thing is, yeah, we had to get off trading energy cells. It was just too... Unless you're going to have like a cargo hold of like 700. It just wasn't worth it for what I was doing. So, yeah, if we're making 17 a pop, we can make, you know... can hold 60, or I don't, was I holding 30? I don't know. I think whatever it was, it still nets out more per. So then the question becomes, it's not really that interesting of a question, but with Freelancer, it was very easy to see that as an action RPG. There were levels that you had to achieve, that your money was your experience points. Do things like space trucking, like pure space trucking like this, does this count as an RPG? And...
Entering system, Cloud Base, Northwest.
This might be controversial,
Autopilot off.
but I might argue that this strikes me personally more as an RPG.
Laser Tower Factory, Cattle Ranch, M. Gamma. Cattle Ranch, M. Wheat Farm, M. Alpha.
Okay, so let's
Argon wheat farms are vast factories
got plenty of wheat.
with large indoor spaces. Wheat farm, Argon wheat farm.
I got nothing. So let's
Wheat
hit these guys
farm,
up.
M. Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
So this might be slightly controversial, but what I was about to say is these strike me more as RPGs than like a Souls game. Now the Souls game, I know, has the classic leveling up and the stats and, you know, things like that. But the reason why this strikes me a little bit more as an RPG is because in a Souls game, I never feel like, oh, I'm playing a character. You know what I mean? Like in like Divinity Original Sin games and Baldur's Gate games, you know, I can sort of are playing a... You're role-playing a little bit more. In Dark Souls, I'm not role-playing anything. I'm just sort of statting, and it's all mechanics, right? Where this, I feel like I'm getting into a kind of headspace that's, you know, sort of different than the typical headspace. You know, so even though I'm not like emotionally trying to connect with my pilot, I am sort of intellectually, you know, like, okay.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our President and Senator, the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Not as good.
Delaxi.
Attention! The recreational area on level 2 is now closed due to a station fire brigade drill. Please bypass
Alright.
this area following the marked routes.
So which way do I want to go? I want to go south, right? So yeah, I mean, this isn't going to be like a Let's Play where I document every session at all, because you can see there's not much to document. But maybe I'll check in every once in a while with this one if I stick with it, because I've been itching for some X in my life for a little while, and I was trying to debate which one. I installed extension just to play with it a little bit. Didn't love how 16:9 works, so I was like, oh, do I do this at 4:3? X4, I was like, yeah, but like, again, it's really intimidating. I tried X Rebirth, which a lot of hardcore fans don't enjoy, and I did appreciate the very structured first couple of hours at least. Again, that's what made me say it was like, at least in my limited experience, it felt like the most freelancery version of the X series.
Entering system, Ringo Moon. Autopilot off.
Because it was so story driven, at least in my time with it.
Ranch, L Gamma.
Let's fire this up. We got bakeries, right?
Kahuna Bakeries are huge orbit
They've got
factories.
wheat.
Kahuna Bakeries are huge.
Less.
Kahuna Bakeries are
Okay, so it's the middle one.
docking grand.
Alright, at least we got a couple runs. Hopefully we can make a little money on this. But yeah, so that's why I sort of described X Rebirth as the most Freelancer. That was my experience. It was an evolution of this interface and this control scheme married to the level construction of X4 with like superhighways and gates mixing together. Much busier space, ships everywhere, stations that are just massive. You start to get into station construction. I don't know how it's going to work here. Maybe at some point I'll try building a station, but you get into the station construction where it's very modular, so they just become massive superstructures. So that it would tell you in a mission like, hey, fly over to the station and land, and you're like, I would have some initial struggles of which part of the station to hit. And eventually I started to figure out a little bit of the UI. But again, you can see like, it's not always super forthcoming with information as a series. So anyway.
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our president and senator, the Argon Federation welcomes
35.
you aboard.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make much money on
Connection
this.
to local trading network established.
Broke $4,000, but it's not great.
Attention, maintenance problem on
Delaxian wheat sold.
Each take kahunas. I don't know if that's a good price.
Kahuna bakeries are huge Kahuna bakeries
They have less.
Kahuna bakeries
They have
are
none.
Argon cattle ranches are large farms used to breed the creature known as the Argon.
They're starting to get a nice
farmed
surplus
for
of
its processed
Argnu
blocks
beef.
of meat steak.
With this one.
Argon cattle ranches are large. Kahuna bakeries are huge orbit factories processing Argnu beef.
I guess I should see who needs Argnu beef.
Kahuna bakeries are huge.
These guys are probably going to all be pretty well supplied.
Kahuna bakeries are huge.
Yeah, they are. Okay. Okay. Where am I again? Let's head over to Argon Prime. North. There's east. Alright, so I'm up to $4,000. I started at 1, playing for a couple hours. So it's slow. But I think like anything, like real life investments, it'll snowball. I just haven't hit that tipping point yet.
Gate Argon Prime.
All right. This actually might be overkill.
Autopilot off.
I was worried it was going to start reversing course a little bit to line up a little straighter instead of just flipping the edge like I'm about to. I might be coming at this from the wrong side. I don't know. Let's see what it does.
Entering system Argon Prime.
So what do we even have here? Stations. What do people need?
Shipyards are the heart and soul of modern society. They are factories of gigantic proportion.
Felt like they would need something though.
Shipyards are the heart and soul.
So
of
yeah, but we can
modern
look at
society. They are factories of gigantic
trading class. The ST
proportions,
is station.
built to manufacture all types of space vehicle and even build and
think the-
sell prefab construction kits for whole new factories. Because of the immense resources and Argon space equipment docks are the locations in Argon territory for upgrading space
I could buy cargo bay extensions and start doing more per, I guess.
Tube fabs manufacture quantum or
Okay, so they need meat steak kahunas, but they're set. But they need energy cell. Am I back to energy cells now? um,
Gate Heron's autopilot activated.
oh shoot! Do I think I sold my cargo. Okay. I guess something I'll have to research is if I...
Entering system Heron's Nebula. Autopilot off. Ore mines.
Yeah, so
are
I can't
mainly
trade ore.
built around
Shit.
Small
What was a rhymes factory?
A rhymes fact is the manufacturing
Galaxian
site for
wheat.
the great bolts of plasticized cloth. A rhymes fact is the
Okay, so where am I? So I can make a run from... Where did I get the wheat? Was it Ringo Moon? Let's see if we can do a run. And just look up Galaxian wheat a little bit. So I need to know, or yeah, what I really need to know is, do ship upgrades transfer to new ship in X3 Albion Prelude? Okay, so it says yes, in X3, ship upgrades can be transferred to a new ship.
entering system.
You can remove
Argon
upgrades from a
Prime.
ship's fitting slots and store them, then install them on another ship. However, there are some exceptions. Special ships, cosmetic items, okay? So if I buy a trade computer, that's basically what I, like, am I just losing my money? But it doesn't seem like that's the case. Okay, let's go to Ringo Moon, go to the West Gate. So the way later games handle this, like we have the SATA drive that sort of time compresses everything. You can buy SATA drives in like X4, I assume X Rebirth, but they have like afterburners, So what it does is it doesn't compress time by default. It just has you fly faster. So good or bad, I have no idea. But that's what they do.
Entering system, Ringo Moon.
Okay, let's see if this is... we were looking for... Is it the bakeries?
Kahuna bakeries are huge orbit factories.
No, they
processing
buy the wheat. So where did the wheat come from? Was it Red Light? No, was it Cloud Base? Cloud Base. Okay, so let's head to Cloud Base. Let's see if we can get a run in. If you're like a big streamer, I could see this being a good streaming game because it would let you set something. I don't know if it'd be fun to watch, but if your community was active in chat, I can see how this game would let you really actively participate in the community while playing and putting something out there. So I appreciate that as well.
Entering system, Cloud Base, Northwest.
Okay. Wheat farms, how are we doing on wheat?
Argon Wheat Farms.
Nope.
Argon wheat farms are vast factories with large indoor spaces used for growing Delaxian wheat. Wheat farm. M. Alpha. Mosquito missile. Install mosquito missile. Removed. Autopilot off.
You know what, let's see something. Let's see about I thought there was a way to barter. You have to be... Need a different name. Coop. Okay. Anything else here we should play with? No, I think we're good there. Okay. Let's hit that north gate. Oh man, it just...
Argon wheat farms are vast.
I haven't hit that one up yet. Maybe that one's got some. The reason why I know I haven't hit it up yet is because it won't let me click on it and get info. I think once you've docked at it, you can sort of interact like that from a distance. So...
Wheat farm. Argon wheat farms are vast factories.
Not great. Okay. No shit. Okay, so where are we? Cloud Base Northwest. So I'm going to jot down that Cloud Base Northwest has wheat farms. Let me look at the map. Nope. I think Ringo Moon's got the cattle ranches and bakeries. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna start putting this together yet. Obviously, so that was it's like some kind of hostile activity, pirates maybe. That's why the music kicked in and got rock and roll. I really don't like that. For some reason I remember an extension, yeah, it didn't stop. It just kept going. It kept going. Holy cow. Oh, yeah, again, for some reason, like, again, I don't know why I have to hit tab to do the boost extension. But for some reason, that goes on and off, and I'm not 100% sure why.
Entering system 3 worlds.
Okay. A lot of asteroids. It looks like we got something here. This is another wheat. So it looks like we're going to have a connection to the east to Power Circle. Something to the north. Do we have anything to the west? So one of the things I remember doing, I don't know if this was an extension, is eventually I bought a station, and I think it was like a mine, like some kind of ore refinery. And then I also bought like a
Wheat farm. Alpha. Argon wheat farms are vast factories.
Definitely got some wheat farms here. What's this? Three worlds, okay. As advanced, the most advanced I ever got with this, I had a mine that needed energy cells. I remember that. So then I also built a sort of a solar panel place to harvest that. And then I had like a big freight ship going, running the energy cells to the mine for free, so I didn't have to pay for that. And then I remember selling the mine somewhere, and my goal was to sort of own every step of the way. Like, for a while, you get the solar cells to the mine to the wherever that has to go, to keep making more and more profit.
Argon equipment dock. Argon space equipment docks are the locations in Argon territory for upgrading space vehicles.
I wonder if there's a difference in prices for like the...
Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
I wonder if the trade extension costs the same. Is this going to put me right into an asteroid? No. Okay, it's just like,
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our president and
That's
senator,
about the same.
the Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Okay. What I want to do is I want to find a place that has like a butt ton of energy. I know we can go south. Can we go any other direction? Let's try east. Seems pretty, yeah, I was going to say, we can get a little closer, right?
Entering system power circle.
Have I been here? I have, okay. Power Circle, not what I expected. Power Circle had... Let's see.
Solar power plants produce energy. They are found everywhere in the... Solar power plants produce energy. They are found everywhere in the known
So we've got a west. The 3 worlds. We've got a south. What's north? That's south. Is there a north?
Solar power plants produce... No aim. Docking granted. Autopilot activated.
So I'm starting to wonder if we're at sort of the northern limit of the overall map, and it's more spanning the other 3 directions. I mean, it lets me keep going, so maybe... Anyway, I mean, if nothing else, you're starting to see the map fill out. You know what I think I'm gonna do? We'll stop here. You know what? Like, let me...
Successfully docked.
On behalf of our president and senator, The Argon Federation welcomes you aboard.
Connection to local trading network established.
Yeah, let's stop here. So, again, this is a little peek into trading in X3.
We would like to remind visitors that dropping litter anywhere other than an approved recycling station carries an automatic 500 credit fine.
All right. And like I was saying early on, there's something to this one that just isn't there in later iterations. There's a slight simplicity and a connection back to where I got my start in the series with Extension that I think makes X3 a pretty nice sort of sweet spot. And it's not that complicated to do the basics. I definitely have chosen like the hardest trading starting point. So you don't have to do that if you want to have things happen faster. But as I said, I don't mind sort of clawing my way up. But yeah, maybe at some point I'll check back in when I get things up and running and really going, and we'll see what that's like. But otherwise, hopefully this was fun. I had a good time getting a little space trucking in. Yeah, the X series is absolutely worth checking out if this is the type of thing you're into. So thanks again, and we'll talk soon. Take care.